Good morning. I want to welcome you to my self-watering garden. It's the end of the growing season and I'm taking my garden apart, but I thought I'd make a little video for you to show you how it works. So what I have here is I have a series of buckets hanging on the fence. Each bucket had a separate plant, like a tomato plant or a bell pepper or green beans. These buckets are watered from this self-watering system. So starting at the bottom, I have two 5-gallon buckets that are interconnected by a pipe, thus making a 10-gallon reservoir. In the bottom of one of the buckets I have a 12-volt DC powered pump, and this pump is powered via this power cable to my solar panel. I have a very nice solar panel. It's not real big, but it seems to work. This pump pumps water up this black hose, up about 4.5 feet through this regulator, which I can control the flow through this pipe, and collects in this green pipe here. This pipe is essentially a ShiShi Odoshi, which is a Japanese term for a deer scarer. For those who may have been in a Japanese tea garden and seen these little bamboo pipes that tip over with water when they fill up, well, that's what this is. This collects about 1 gallon of water, and when it fills, it tips over automatically and dumps into this bucket. And let me remove this splash guard. What we have in here is we have a series of holes. Each hole has a pipe flowing from this bucket here to each of the planting buckets. So when the water flows down, it flows into this little small section here. I have some holes drilled in it to make a little sprinkler, and a little electric tape here at the bottom, which waters the plant. The water flows through this perlite here, which is where the roots are, through the bucket, drains out the bottom, and I have a hose, whoop, excuse me, I have a hose connecting all these buckets, and they flow into the reservoir bucket where the water is returned. Now, you'll notice that I have this device in between a series of buckets running to the left and a series of buckets running to the right. I learned that I can only go out about 20 feet before the pressure is too low for watering the bucket. So I centered this device in the middle and flowed water to the left and to the right. And I did a cutout here of a bucket. What I did was actually it takes 2 buckets to make one of these. I take one bucket and I cannibalize it, and I cut the bottom out, and I drill holes in the bottom of it, and I slide it in. It makes draining the bucket much easier. Perlite sits on top of it, and so the water comes through the pipe, out through the sprinkler, through the perlite, drains through here, out through this hole, and back to the reservoir. So I thought I'd do a little demonstration here for you how this works. So I have some water in this pipe already. I'm going to turn the valve on. You can see water's flowing, and it's flowing a little faster than normal. It dumps into the bucket, goes down the drain, and makes a little sprinkler here. And it'll run like this all day as long as the sun is out. As you can see, it's running right now. Now, let me go through some details. So this is a piece of PVC pipe with an end cap, and the end kind of notched a little bit. I tied a piece of string around this to find the center of gravity, and I marked it. And then 1/4 inch ahead of it, I drilled some holes and put these little door stops that you can find at any hardware store to make an axle. There's one on the other side. I cut the end off. I took some angle iron and I made this box frame and put the ShiShi Odoshi in the middle of it. I bolted it to a 2x4. I put a little piece of metal here to support it, and just for fun I put a little bell here so it would ring every time it tipped over. On the pump side, this is a standard pond pump. You find these on the internet and they'll make a little water fountain in your pond. The tricky part is you need to make sure that your pump can pump high enough to run water into your ShiShi Odoshi. So this is about a 48 or 50 inch pump, and that's how they're rated. I think I paid like $80 for the pump. Each of the buckets I paid $1 for from the local hamburger shop. Whoops, there we go again. It's flowing again, and it's sprinkling again. The hose I got from the local Home Depot store. It's pretty inexpensive equipment. Some of the lessons learned on the bucket is, as I showed you, you have to have a false bottom. You have to regulate the flow of the water, otherwise it will fill up too fast. And you notice here, this bucket, it's filled up too fast, and if it keeps doing this, it'll overflow and put perlite on the ground. So that's not a good thing. So anyway, I wanted you to see how this garden worked. I actually had tomatoes, 5-foot, 6-foot tomatoes growing in my garden, and it worked pretty well. So thank you very much.